What's up, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Rich the Rookie here from Nizulo.com. Now, welcome to our very first product review. Now, the product that we've got in our crosshairs today comes by the way of KontrolFreek. Now, these little bad boys over here are known as the FPS Freaks. Now, according to KontrolFreek, what these bad boys aim to do is to improve your overall accuracy when playing first-person shooter games. And how they actually do that is by increasing the range of motion. So because they click onto your thumbstick, which I'll show you right here. Now, because these bad boys click onto your thumbstick like so, it makes the thumbstick larger. Now, what KontrolFreek claim is that because the thumbstick's taller, it increases the range of motion, allowing you to more precisely aim. Now, what I'm going to do with this review is, obviously I'm just going to give you my first impressions, both before and when first trying the product. Secondly, we're going to look at the pros and cons, and at the end we're going to come back and give it a Nizulo score, and then I'll pass on my recommendation to you guys as to whether you guys should definitely look at getting the product or not. So let's get stuck into it and let's have a look at the very first impressions. So my first impressions before I actually got the FPS Freaks was one of skepticism. You know, I had read a lot of reviews and I noticed a lot of gamers on KontrolFreek's website that were claiming just how much their FPS performance improved by using these little critters. And you know, naturally as human beings we're quite skeptical, so that was the mindset that I took when I actually started trying these things out. Now, when I first chucked them onto my Xbox 360 controller, I found that it was a completely different experience. And you know, and it took me a fair while to even get used to these bad boys. So it took me quite a bit to get used to, but you know, once I started getting used to it, and once I started, you know, giving it some time to sink in, man, did it start to shine. And that leads me into the pros. Now, the very first thing that you will notice improve is just how much easier it is to aim. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking, yeah, you sound just like one of those guys that are on KontrolFreek's website, or you sound like just, you know, you sound exactly like, you know, one of those guys that are doing those reviews, praising it. But it's not until you actually try it out that you start to see how much easier it is to aim. And the most significant improvement for me came when I was aiming from medium to long distances, both in Halo, Modern Warfare 3 and Battlefield 3 especially, with the Recon class, how much easier it was to snipe with the FPS Freaks on. Now, the reason for that is I just found that it was a whole lot easier to make minute adjustments. Like, I know before I had the FPS Freaks on Battlefield when I was sniping, just to make those minor adjustments to the left so you can get your scope over the top of someone's head, you know, it took a couple of goes because you'd move it to the left, and if your sensitivity was too high, it would, you know, jolt to the left and you end up moving too far past your target's head. Now, what I found with these things here, it was a whole lot easier to just maneuver your crosshairs over someone's head, or, you know, get your crosshairs on point. Now, the other thing that I noticed as well, and it came in real handy when I was in close quarters combat, was because you've turned your sensitivity up high. You've got your sensitivity. For me on Battlefield 3, my sensitivity with the FPS Freaks on was well past halfway. With them off, it was well under a quarter. Now, because you're able to have your sensitivity up high, you can make those minor adjustments when you're shooting at someone downrange, but when they're up close and personal with you, it allows you to make quick turns. So it's the closest thing that I've found on a console controller to gaming with a mouse, because you've got that, I guess you can call it you've got that dexterity and that precision aiming at distance, but you've also got the ability to turn around quickly, which I found a real positive feature for the FPS Freaks. Because you're playing on that high sensitivity, you're able to spin around a whole lot quicker. So those are my two pros, and for the FPS Freaks, is that your accuracy is a whole lot better when you're aiming from mid to long range, and on top of that, you're able to spin around. You're able to look around a whole lot quicker, and that way if you can hear someone coming up on your six, you're able to spin around a whole lot faster than you were if you didn't have them on and your sensitivity was lower. Now let's have a look at the cons. So we're on to the cons. Now, one of the biggest cons that I found, and it isn't necessarily a con, so to speak, was the fact that you become so used to playing without the FPS freaks on your and your sensitivity at a low sensitivity rate, that when you put your sensitivity on high, you start to find that in close quarter combat you tend to just fling the thumbstick to the right or to the left, and what you find is, as I said in the pros, you turn around really quickly. Now I found this out the other day. I was playing Battlefield 3 and I had these things on and I had my sensitivity quite high. Now what I did was, a guy rushed up on me when I was sniping at one of his teammates in the distance, and he rushed up on me on the left flank. Now, as a panic reaction, I flung to the left with my thumbstick, and I found myself doing a complete 180 and he shot me in the back of the head. Now, you just have to get used to the fact that your sensitivity is on high, and even in close quarter combat, you don't need to jerk the thumbstick to the left or to the right completely, because you will spin around quickly. Now, all you need to do is just, if you can get used to the fact that your sensitivity is on high and that you can just make minor moves to the left or to the right, you'll find that aiming in close quarters will be a whole lot easier to do. So that was one of the cons that I found, and that's the only con that I found with the FPS freaks. And I don't even think that's a con necessarily to do with the product, but it's more so me being too used to playing how I've been playing. And I think I'll find that the more that I get used to playing with the FPS freaks on, the better that I'll get at aiming when in close quarters. So to wrap things up, the FPS freaks by KontrolFreek are a great little accessory for any of you guys that are looking to improve your performance while you're playing first-person shooters. Now, they're well built, they improve your accuracy as KontrolFreek claim, and on top of that, they're cheap. So take a look at KontrolFreek's website. I'll leave the link down below, but take a look at their website and check out their products, because in my personal experience from using them, and I've only been using them now for about 3 weeks, so I thought I'd completely try them out before reviewing them, and they've done wonders for me. So at first it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but now that I've gotten used to them and I'm able to, I guess it's become second nature using them, they're definitely a great little accessory to buy. Now for the Nizulo score. Now, with the FPS freaks and my personal experience from using them over the past 3 weeks, I'd have to give these bad boys an 8 out of 10. Now, the reason why I didn't go a 10 out of 10 is because firstly, I didn't want to give it a 10 out of 10 because I've only been using them for 3 weeks and I want to see how long they last. And durability and getting your money's worth is a massive factor when you're looking at buying a product. So hence the reason for the 8 out of 10. So what I'll do is I'll do a re-review in a year's time, and I'll let you guys know how it all goes. But keep your eyes posted on this post and let me know what you guys think of the product. If you guys are out there using the FPS freaks yourself, let me know how you guys went with it. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section down below and get at me. I'm more than happy to answer your questions about this great little product. I'm your boy Rich the Rookie. Thank you for tuning in to Nizulo.com, and as I say, game hard, game on, and game often.